I'm Salad and I saw Five Nights at Freddy's. It is directed by Emma Tammy, written by Scott Cawthon, Seth Cudback, and Emma Tammy. And if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. My previous exposure to this entire franchise, I've heard of the games. I've never played the games because I've had no interest in the games whatsoever. But I do know the premise of the game, so I was intrigued when this was made into a movie, and I'm like, oh wow, how similar is this to the game? And is this just good by itself? Is this like a good standalone movie? Well, it's time for me to get into the review. So, first of all, we're following a restaurant, actually. Freddy's Fazbear Pizzeria. Woo, yeah! I'm making the pizzas. And there's the security guard, and you'd be like, oh, I gotta go to the crawl vent. I gotta go crawl into the air duct. There's somebody banging on my door. And he's so scared. And I'm like, bro, why are you scared? Obviously, somebody is trying to get in to your office. And it's funny because the security guard is scared, so something bad is happening. Of course, he goes into the air duct, and then he gets got. And I'm like, ha! Got him. This is a not safe work environment. You know, OSHA would have a lot of complaints. I'm sure of it. But, you know, this is not that type of movie. This is the movie that you're supposed to kind of turn off your brain and then just, like, enjoy it. Enjoy the sights in front of you. That's what I got from this movie. I do like this mask is established with, like, gears on the inside. It looks like this guy's having, like, a face, like, mask applied to him with, like, gears on the inside, like, it's slowly coming towards him while he's strapped in a table. And I'm like, what? Okay. First of all, why would this exist? This is terrifying. Maybe this is somebody's, like, invention. And I'm just like, now thinking, if somebody just made this, I'm just like, I just want to ask him, why did you make this? Why? Honestly. So anyway, we're following Mike, actually. So Mike is a guy, and he's working as a security officer at a mall, and he, like, you know what's really fun about this scene? So he's, like, at, like, a coffee shop or whatever. He's getting coffee, and he looks over and he sees, like, a little child, and the child's just, like, you know, standing there, and then, like, he sees the dad, like, tugging on him, and the kid's like, you know, I thought, oh, that kid is probably dragging his feet, you know, he's probably, like, not wanting to go somewhere, you know, as kids do, and then the parent has to, like, lead him along the way, lead in the right direction. You know what frickin' Mike does, okay? Instead of being like, oh, that's probably his kid, he instead runs. He runs, pushes that guy, the dad, into the water fountain and starts beating him up. And I'm like, this is so off the rocker. And he immediately gets consequences for it. He gets fired. And so he has to look for a new job. The first third of the movie, I'm like intrigued. Oh, like, okay. So he gets this offering of a job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza as a security officer, and the pay sucks. And I'm like, no one would take that pay. He's like, I wouldn't even take that pay, but there are some stakes. And I'm like, how does he take this job? Okay. And I was really curious about this. I was like, there has to be some way that he's able to take this job with all the negativity associated with it. Like, there must be something worse. And there is something worse. It's the aunt. Oh man, the aunt wants custody of his little sister, and he loves his little sister, and he kind of sucks taking care of his little sister. The little sister's name is Abby, by the way. And he's not the best parent, but he's just trying to take care of his sister. And freaking the aunt is so mean. And oh my goodness. The way she speaks just makes me, like, grind my gears. She's like demanding of everyone. She's like, oh, and you can tell me, you are gonna come here and you're gonna tell me everything that happened and you're gonna tell me everything around all the things, okay? Freaking, okay, Mike. And Mike's like, okay. And then I'm just like, bro, this aunt, I have so much rage for her. But okay, and Abby doesn't like this aunt either. So, and I love how this aunt wants Abby so much and wants to crush her artistic soul, which is what will happen because look at her. She's like drawing paintings and she's like doing a bunch of doodles, and the way that she draws is like through like the way that her love language is through drawings. Okay, and she's like drawing Mike all the time. Oh yeah, I'm drawing this, and we have a motivation. He has to get a job in order to be like, to prove that he's a good custody for his sister. So he has to get that security job, okay? This part I'm like, all right, good character motivation. Let's see how the ambiance of the restaurant, now that he's hired, let's see how it is. And so it's spooky. It's very spooky. Like the security office, I'd say is pretty close to accurate. The screens are very, very close. And the interiors look very similar. I've seen like pictures of like the first game's layout, but like, you know, I've never actually played the game. So based on my memory, they look good. So I appreciate the attention to detail in the sets. Some weird things start happening. First of all, Mike starts sleeping on the job and then has like weird dreams where like children are in his dreams, and then I immediately like, oh, so those are the animatronics, clearly, because I thought they were just like ghosts of the restaurant. And then, you know, that makes sense. Why is he sleeping on the job? Well, he's trying to find out where who took his brother. How would that knowledge help you now? It's been like 20 years. The guy's gonna like completely change. Maybe your brother's dead. It doesn't matter. So anyway, now we have Mike repeatedly falling asleep on the job, repeatedly talking to these children in the dreams. Also has the big brain idea if even though he's trying to keep custody of Abby, and even though Abby keeps on insisting on coming to his job, you know what the really responsible thing to do as a parent would be say, no, you're not coming to my job and that's that. No, I'm setting my foot down. But because Mike is not a good parent, actually, he takes Abby to the job and some weird creepy things start happening, like the animatronics come alive, and then Abby's talking to the animatronics, and I'm like, bro, they're gonna eat her. I mean, okay, the fact that they haven't eaten her already, they might have some soft spot for children, is my immediate guess. And then like the reason that they didn't immediately kill Mike when they saw him is because they saw Abby responding kindly to him. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then they clean up. They all clean up the place. Okay, that's fine. And then there's also Vanessa, by the way. Vanessa is a police officer, and I'm like, why are you putting your career on the line for Mike that you just met, and now you're like, oh, I'll put my career on the line for you. I'll get you some details. I'll make sure not to tell people. I'll make sure not to file paperwork on the incident that happened here. Well, it turns out she's the daughter of the owner of the place of the Fazbear Pizza, and the freaking big man bunny suit guy owns the place. And I'm like, bro, just leave. What is it with serial killers in movies and looking weird? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, there's some parts that I felt this movie did pretty good. Like, there's good horror. The horror in this is great. Like, especially when we have like, oh man, here's a part. So the aunt is like talking to these dudes, and these dudes are like, oh yeah, we'll break into his work. Yeah, we'll do that. And so they break into his work, and as a consequence, we have these freaking animatronic like costume springlock guys. Yeah, they're just like walking around being all creepy, and then like also these guys breaking in. They don't know what's up. I really like the scene where there's like a guy who like goes into the closet, and then like there's a like, oh wow, one of the animatronics is behind him, and then like you just see the bloody hand on like the door, and then like it's just him. Like he's eating that dude, and I thought it was great. I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrifying. This is horrifying. So I felt like personally this movie could have succeeded. Like I would have liked this movie more if it was like just dedicated more to the horror aspect. And I do like having like the character motivation at the very beginning for Mike getting the job. I just feel like bringing Abby to the restaurant is really dumb and counterintuitive to his goals of keeping Abby. So, and then by like 2/3 of it, first of all, I like the horror, but by like the last 2/3 of it, I'm like, okay, some of it is some of it's kind of dumb. Yeah, I know the animatronics were the kids the entire time. Like, I thought that was obvious at the very beginning. And then they just kept, like, doing, like, obvious, like, lingering on these animatronics, and then, like, also connecting them to the kids at the same time. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And then, like, the very end, it's like, oh, these are the kids the entire time. I'm like, yes, I knew that. I knew that. So I felt like some of it was played too long, like that part specifically. I do like Mike and Abby's relationship. I just wish that Mike made better decisions. And also, what's fun is that this takes place in the 1990s. It's my guess, based on the TV. And I was just thinking, oh man, 1990s. I guess some people would go anywhere to do any job for any reason because there's no online stuff. So honestly, overall, I guess I kind of like this movie as like a horror movie. I wish there was more horror, less like drama stuff. That kind of like made me feel confused. I felt confused. I guess overall, I like the performances. I like the set pieces. Just the writing towards the end made me confused. So I guess I gotta give this like a solid like, it's like a 6.6 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The algorithm really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 Dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and until next time, I'm in Salad Saw. I say like to my sour croutons, big bits.